I'm kind of a camera collector.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of other people in this group. I hang out Beers and Cameras. I mentioned to you before, who are camera collectors. They're really camera collectors. They come to Beers and Cameras because they just want to talk about cameras.
Yeah.
And they're just holding this pristine camera and going, this is the camera. It was made in this year. It does this. And I'm like, what pictures of it? You take pictures? She's like, oh, I dare. God, no, I never put film in this. I wouldn't run film through it.
Right.
And I don't understand those people because I buy cameras from the mindset of it being a tool.
Yep.
I do like weird cameras.
Yeah.
And I like old obscure things, but for the most part, I want to use them.
Yeah, that's the idea.
And like you were saying, I bought some used cinema lenses.
Yeah.
The point is to use them. So I didn't care that it was scuffed. The person that was writing about it, it's like they felt bad. They were embarrassed. Like, I'm so sorry. There's some scratches and scuffs and it's worn. And I'm looking at it and I messaged them like, does it have any like scratches on the lens? Is there any fungus on the lens? They say no. I'm like, and it's basically a brand new lens to me. Like, that's all that matters. It works.
Yeah, totally.
Works,
totally.
You know?
It's the same thing with drums. I mean, there's certain people that like, I was at this, I did a handful of shows with this artist named Frankie, who I play with. I've been playing with her for years. And we, in February, did some shows with this band. And we did this like trading shows type of thing. They came out here and played a few shows in California. We went out there and played a few shows in Arizona. And we stayed at the guy's house when we were in Arizona. Mm-hmm. And fairly wealthy guy, really nice house in Tucson, absolutely filled to the brim with music gear. Like he bragged about having like 50 guitars in the place. And there's like 37 bass guitars and there's 22 drum kits. And I've got all these snare drums and this one's from 1962 and that one's this year and it has the round badge. And, you know, they only made those for 3 years, you know, and like a lot of shit like that. Right. And I just remember having that thought of you like with the camp where I'm like, I remember asking him like, do you play all this? No. I've got 2 guitars that I use. And I'm just sitting there like, what's the point of having the snare drum from 1962, which like, obviously it's coveted. You just sat here and bragged to me about how pristine or how rare this is. And it's like, isn't the idea that you can get a sound from this particular drum that is going to be very hard to get from something else, or it's such a unique drum, it has a unique voice. Wouldn't you want to? My idea of buying something like that would be to have access to the voice, right? Just like with a camera, like you would buy some obscure rare camera because it's going to take photos in a pretty particular unique way, right? That's why you would pursue that camera. And maybe there's some famous photos out there that this camera took.
It gets you closer to the history and the heritage of it.
100%. Like, so like if I want to record a song that like, and I really want to like get this Beatles vibe, this early Beatles vibe, or this early Rolling Stones vibe, I'm going to grab the snare drum from 62 and I'm going to play it, you know, with these sticks and I'm going to try to mimic these things and get this sound out of it. And
that
it
reminds
just makes
me,
no sense. Like,
I'm
going to buy all this shit and just stare at it and be like it's a museum. You know what I mean?
I was shooting behind the scenes of the making of a soundtrack for a documentary in Provo, Utah.
Oh, wow.
Which I guess is like a big music town.
Interesting.
And I forget the guy's name, but I have some footage of it I'll show. But this guy he's like the go-to guy of Provo. Like he had this like huge house that's turned into a multi-stage, like the basement had like 4 recording studios.
Wow.
And there's all these rooms full of guitars and drums. And there's a whole, when you walk in the front door, like the staircase has racks of like different synthesizers from all over the history of time.
Right.
And I feel like when I walked in, I felt ashamed that I couldn't appreciate it all.
Oh, okay.
Like, I know nothing, but I can appreciate that I know that you have the fucking Guggenheim or whatever.
This is the significance of it, right? Like the gravity of it, but it's like...
And the way he used it, he used them.
Yes.
He never believed in...
Emulating?
Like emulators. Yeah.
Yeah.
He would just grab this crazy thing and plug guitars and amps and things through it and then plug that into his computer to get the sound from that device.
Yes. And that's what I'm talking. Like you're getting it. Like it's the idea of buying Juno keyboard synthesizer from the 80s is that you get the 80s sound.
Yes.
From the source, not...
Yeah, and it's not some like affectation of it.
Totally. Yeah. Which is 99.9% of the listeners going to know that? No, they're not going to know the difference. But the point is that you're doing it for you. You're doing it for the art. You're doing it to recreate this.